Hi, so welcome to the class in research. Um, Thankfully, I found the time to create a video for you. So, forgive me if I'm if this is gonna be the first time or if it was too late for me to make a video. Um, I decided to make this lecture in order for you to understand really what are the expectation, what are you going to do in the research or EE 3214. Okay, so I don't really have a choice but to make a module for this one because that is what the admin is asking us, your teachers, to do, unlike before. Okay, so that's the reason why. So this course, which is research, covers the study of the methodologies used in conducting engineering research. Again, so specifically engineering research. So you might be wondering, so if I am only talking about engineering research, do you mean, sir, marami pang klase ng research? Well, yes, there are many kinds of research. So when we talk about when you are a student of medical or medicine, of course that's going to be a medical science research. So when we talk about teachers, so that's different, that's also different. And we talk about yung mga judge, attorney, ganon, there's also different kinds of research. So for us in engineering, I think the thing that distinguish us, or the thing that distinguish engineering research from all or among all kinds of research is we find a problem. Okay, we start with a problem. So we look for a problem first. Okay, so so that's the reason why I specifically or explicitly put here find a problem, because that's the beginning of the engineering research. So engineering research is not like, okay, so naisip kong gawin ito, naisip kong gawin yan. No, hindi ganun yun. So I don't know, maybe you were thought that way in your high school or elementary, but that's not how we do research in engineering. I hope that's clear. Okay, so this course includes the types and application of research and characteristics of a good research design, instrument, and data gathering procedures. So as much as I can, I'm going to teach you all the basics and sometimes some secrets or tricks in order for you to do the research faster. Okay, so when I say problem, it must be legit. Okay, so when I say legit, it should not be a problem that you just think that it's a problem. For example, well, I think the problem of the world is, like this or like that. So that's not the problem that I'm talking about. So when we say the problem should be legit, it should be dapat nakikita natin or accepted na. Or for example, kahirapan, accepted na talaga kahirapan, ganyan. Or accepted talaga natin na ang problema talaga ay kakulangan sa trabaho, kakulangan sa pagkain, mga ganun. So it should be valid, accepted, and known. Parang redundant lang ako dun when I say known and then accepted. Okay, so for example, back then, communication is a problem. Okay, communication back then is a problem. That's true, because for example, this is the Philippines, right? So let's say your house is here and your girlfriend's house is here. So imagine, and let's say that is 500 kilometers, okay, between. So imagine na lang kung how are you going to communicate with such a long distance. So it's not the distance that's a problem, that's not really the problem itself, but communication itself is a problem. How are you going to communicate? Okay, so obviously meron na tayong solution dyan. We invented wireless communication, or back then we invented telephones. Okay, so balik ko lang yung drawing. So back then, we decided that, yeah, I know it's quite far, but what if we make a line, that connects your house and the other house 500 kilometers away. So that's a telephone line. But we found out that there's a problem with that, because obviously you can easily cut the line. So pag putol yung line, how can you communicate? So that's the problem. You can cut the line, or there's other problem like it's too expensive, or the line can only accommodate one house at a time. Okay, so what do I mean? Example, if that particular line can only serve or can only be used by two houses at the same time, and then as the population grows, the demand for the telephone line increases. So obviously the population growth is not a problem. The problem is the limitation of the line itself, because if you're going to think of it, if you're going to look at this one, if you're going to make lines per houses, imagine the amount of troubles you will have. So that's the problem. The problem here is the cable line or the line can only accommodate one house at a time. So that's a problem. So what's going to be the solution? Well, there are many kinds of solutions for the problem, for this particular problem. Like, for example, so why don't we create, dati kasi one line lang. So what if we, what if we devise something? What if we connect 5 lines together in a stack? Oh, well. But the challenge is, for example, if one line is this big, okay, so imagine if you're going to stack 10, masyadong malaki, masyadong makapal, masyadong mabigat. So that's another problem, right? The size of the cables when bundled together is quite big. So that's the problem, the size. So what's going to be the solution? Obviously, you reduce the size. Now, how are you going to do that? Now, that's the research. How are you going to do that? How are you going to shrink the diameter or the size of the wire, but it can accommodate more customers? Maliit na wire, mas sexy na wire, pero mas marami ang kayang i-accommodate. So that's the engineering research. So again, we always start with a problem. We don't think of an idea for a problem. No, don't do that. You find a problem. You find a problem first. You look at the possible options or the entry points for you to address the problem. Like for example, yung kanina, the problem is with the line, and the line can only accommodate one house at a time. So the solution is, why not make them one? But the problem there is, if you're going to connect multiple lines together, magiging malaki. So the problem there is the size, obviously. So how are you going to make a solution to that problem? And what is the problem? The problem is the size. So you do something about the size. You reduce the size, but you don't compromise the amount of customers. Okay, I hope you get the point. So, kaya pa ulit. So, what is research? So, actually, parang na-discuss ko na what is research, no? Actually, that's what research all about. So, okay, so for this one, you can, okay, so I think I made this module for you to select one of the UN Sustainable Development Plan, because since the invention of the internet, data or information can already be is actually already in the tip of our fingernails. Sorry. So it's quite easy for us to do research. So if you have all the information in the world, what else you don't know? What are the things that you still don't know? You don't know, right? So it's crazy because you think that everything has been discovered already. Well, to tell you the truth is no, no, it's not. No, that's not that. Because if we already know everything, if we already know all the answers to our question, then where are we going to? We don't know, because there's nothing more to search for. There's nothing more to go beyond. So obviously the answer is no. We don't know anything else yet. So Google doesn't have all the answers yet to our questions. So that's where research comes in. But to help you make your own research project or title, or to help you graduate, yun na lang, to help you graduate, I'm helping you to find the problem easily. So you have to choose from the UN Sustainable Goals, because yun lang naman yung nakikita kong mas madali na hanapan ng problem. Okay, so before that one, research is defined as a careful, well-defined, objective, systematic method of searching, blah blah blah. So the only sense of that is you find answers to the questions. Okay, so but in a systematic order, or a manner which is objective and systematic. When we say objective, you have the goals. You know the goals, you know what you are looking for, you know what you're going to do. And systematic means you know the processes. Okay, so when we say you know the process, you should only begin with step 1. You don't skip step 2, step 3. You always begin with step 1. So it's a process. When we say systematic, it's a process. Okay, so searching knowledge or formulation of a theory driven by lalim naman ito. Basta yun yung point. Okay. So research involves the formulation of hypothesis. So it involves the hypothesis. So going back to this example I've given you, the hypothesis here is, can we shrink the size? Can we shrink the size or the diameter of the cable in order for us to, to accommodate more customers? That's the first question. But the second question is, will this be okay? Will this work? Will this be applicable? So those are the questions. There are actually more questions than you can answer at first, but that's actually a good thing. You must ask a lot of questions, because those questions should be answered one by one, or let's say dapat masagot mo yung mga tanong na yun. Because if you don't have a question, then obviously you don't have interest. You don't really know what's happening, because you're not asking yourself, because you see no problem. So when you see no problem, so why are you going to do it if you don't see any problem? Diba? So yeah. So research is a process of creating something which does not exist. Well, yes, because you don't have to do a research when it is already known. For example, we already know that we can use pencil to write. So why are we going to make a research again validating if our pencil can write? We already know that a pencil can write, right? so let's say if you ask Google a question, yeah, okay, so if you ask Google a question and it returned no exact or definitive answer, then the answer to your question is worth a shot. Yes, this is true, because again, Google doesn't hold all the questions in the world. So if you have a specific question, or you want to find something and Google doesn't give you an exact answer to that question, then it's worth a shot. So you try it. Okay, so sa start, ganito talaga yung idea natin. Medyo magulo. Masyadong magulo. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung gagawin natin. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung papupunta na yung thought. But with proper questioning, you can make it simple. You can make it clear. So we ask questions. So, for example, this one. So, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? For example, Angela thinks of creating um, a portable hand sanitizer. She told me, sir, napansin ko po kasi na yung mga hand sanitizer, inaapak-apakan lang. So, bakit hindi na lang tayo gumawa ng automatic, tapos portable, tapos yun, portable pa. Okay, so the first question there is, why do you want to do that? Kasi nasagot niya, actually nasagot niya. Kasi hindi daw portable. Okay, so what is it for? A portable automatic hand sanitizer is for sanitizing your hand. Okay, so if you're going to look at that idea, it's actually okay, but is it necessary, or is it important? Or I'd rather use my alcohol, I'd rather use this. I don't want this to have an automatic function, because I mean, why do I need an automatic function for this one? There are times that I want to wash my hands with plenty of alcohol. I don't need the automatic function for this one. So I can because for simplicity's sake, come on, I think side note lang. I think the reason why Apple is so the Apple yung sa iPhones is so successful is because of simplicity. Okay, so simplicity makes something makes sense. So you don't have to think about anything else. You know the purpose, you know the use. So it's simple. So it's convenient. It's simple. Okay, so when we talk about automatic hand sanitizer, so why do you need to do that? Why do you need to use an automatic? So automatic, why? So I don't see the importance in that, because we can use this. You don't need to put an automatic function in a hand sanitizer. Okay, so if you can answer those 4 questions, then I think you already know the topic. Because if you can, that's the reason why you ask this question. So please lang, yung sa mga gumawa ng assignment number 1, sana naman tinanong nyo sarili, sana tinanong nyo sarili nito, why do you want to do this? Then what is it for? Will it benefit others? Why is this important? So I hope you ask yourselves, or you ask yourself and you answer these questions before you make your own assignment number 1. Okay, because obviously you can be overwhelmed with a lot of questions. You can be overwhelmed with a lot of ideas, so many ideas and thoughts. But again, the first step is to find a problem lang. Okay, so research is instead adding maybe small and specific get original contribution. Yeah, so that's it, because it's really difficult for you to create something. Like I always tell students, you don't really have to think something, or you don't have to create something that can change the world or save the world. No, those are reserved for only a very small percentage of the population. Like I don't know, maybe Einstein or popular scientists. They're geniuses, or let's say they are rare or unique. But for you, which is I think average person, or maybe above average person, you don't have to do that, because you are limited by the number of time. You are limited by your time. You need to graduate. Remember, you need to graduate. So you only need to find a specific and a very small problem to solve. Yun lang. Okay. So as for EE students, this is important for you to know. You can, in order for you to know which of the engineering fields you can partner with. So as an EE student, you can partner with a computer engineering student, or a field in computer engineering. You can also work with electronics engineering. You can also work with mechanical, civil. Okay, so for computer engineering, I think you can work on embedded systems. When we say embedded systems, it's like more of Internet of Things. Okay, so electronics is actually the same thing, like Internet of Things. For mechanical engineering, I think you can work on with machines, which probably renewable energy technologies. So for civil engineering, I think you can work with sustainable infrastructures, like integrating renewable energy technologies with civil infrastructures like that. So with chemical engineering, I think you can work on with batteries, capacitors, um, state-of-the-art materials for renewable energy technologies. For industrial, I'm not quite sure though. For computer science, you can do with coding or programs or softwares designed to address a problem in electrical engineering or information technology. Information technology can be more on data analysis or compiling huge data. Okay, so gathering so much data and making sense out of it. So that's it. Okay, so you can work with the following engineering fields or other fields or disciplines in order for you to do your research. Okay, so these are the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so for number one, no poverty. Okay, so these are not problems. Okay, these are not problems. So these are goals. So we want no poverty. But when we say no poverty, actually, is poverty a problem, babe? Okay, so is poverty a problem? Eh, no, not really. But when you talk about it, poverty is one of the outcomes or reasons. Okay, it could be inequality. Okay, inequality. Actually, problem is not the problem. There are a lot of factors that causes poverty. Or there are a lot of things, but poverty is not the is not the problem. You can the one of the causes or the reasons for poverty is inequality. You can also put to perspective economic. Okay, we can also say it's government. Okay, and also government. um, I don't know what else yet. So when we say inequality, this is one of the reasons why there is poverty. There is probably inequality of jobs, you know, jobs, or this is probably I don't know else. I don't know what's the other factor. Inequality in jobs, inequality in opportunities. Okay, so when we say economic, this could be due to population or the economic stance or economic stand of the country itself, or this is already in the country itself. And when we talk about government, okay, maybe the government is corrupt, which is highly likely. Okay, corrupt government, and I don't know the other one. So maybe I'm wrong to say this one. Maybe the question here is, maybe this is really poverty, corruption. Okay, so we can say corruption is one of the reasons why there is poverty. Yeah, could be. And we can also say that these two are connected. So it's really difficult for you to address poverty because it tackles a lot of things. So it can be inequality, it can be both inequality, economic and development and problem, but corruption. Okay, so if you're going to make research on this one, I really doubt that you can find something which addresses poverty as an engineering problem, because this is already a social economic. Poverty is not an engineering problem because this is social economic. I don't know, maybe you can't find an engineering problem in addressing poverty, but I really doubt, because I don't really see it that way. But if you can, then good for you. Okay, so that's goal number 1. So number 2, zero hunger. Okay, hunger. Again, hunger is not a problem again, but it's one of the goals. No hunger. So hunger. So there are also a lot of factors comes into play. When we say hunger, that could be population as well. Maybe too much population. Or that could be also economic. Or that could also be food shortage or scarcity. Okay, so I don't really say that hunger is on corruption. No, you can be corrupt, but you can be hungry, but you're not corrupt, and you can also be corrupt, but you're not hungry. So corruption is not the cause for hunger. Okay, it could be population or too much population. Okay, or it could be economic, where the economy is in shambles or in staggered growth, or yun nga, so pababa na economy, so there's no power of the money, so there's no purchasing power anymore. So when we talk about economic, the economic side, it can also be more on inflation. Okay, inflation. When we talk about inflation, your money loses its power. So for example, if you have 1,000 pesos before, and you can buy one sack of rice, now due to inflation, your 1,000 pesos can only give you half sack of rice. So you lost one half of the one sack. Obviously, you lost 50% of your 1,000 or your power. So that's inflation. So population, obviously, it's more population, it's really difficult for you to feed a lot of population. First, food scarcity, it's food scarcity. Okay, so when we talk about food scarcity, this could be due to land or weather. Yeah, I can think of only 2. This could be due to land. So when we talk about land, we can say it's fertility or availability. Okay, so when we talk about land, the problem could be due to the fertility of the land. Okay, when we talk about fertility, maybe it's on acidity. Okay, so nutrients. Okay, so there are a lot of factors now. The problem for low fertility could be due to acidity, or could be due to low nutrients. Yeah, so availability is the problem, which is availability, could be due to low availability of available farmlands. So shortage of lands. Farmlands. So what's the problem with shortage of farmlands? Of course, ginawa na ni Cynthia Villar yung mga palayan, ginawa ng residential. Okay, so that could be the problem. The problem is shortage of farmlands. Okay, yes, so that's a problem. So when we talk about weather, okay, so food scarcity due to weather. Okay, so the problem with the weather could be climate change. I think this is the only thing. Climate change. Now, when we talk about climate change, it's a very big realm. It could be greenhouse gases, it could be acidity. Yeah, acidity going to fertility, So the problem here are the things that you can address, or the things that you can go research, is this one, this one, this one, this one. But no, not really. This needs to be broken. This needs to be broken down into components before you can find a problem. Maybe GHG, greenhouse gas emissions, or this could be I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so inflation. Okay, when you talk about population, it's really difficult, Yeah. So population, when you too much population, obviously you reduce the population. So engineering research could be acidity. You could be addressing the problem with acidity. You can also address the problem with the nutrient. You can address the problem with the shortage of farmlands. Or you can address, no, this is not an engineering problem. No. So these are the only two engineering problems that you can go. Or if you can find others, then it's good. So you can talk about acidity, nutrients, shortage of farmlands. So these are the entry points. So these are the problems that can give you a good research title or problem. Yeah. So that's number 2, sustainable goal. So good health and well-being, well, this is not an engineering problem. It could be an engineering problem. Well, it could be, it could be EE plus IE, or industrial engineers. Industrial engineers are good with what we say ergonomics. Okay. Or, I don't know, ergonomics. Yeah. So when we talk about EE plus IE, you can go for ergonomics. So when we say ergonomics, these are devices or things that can help humans with improving their life or well-being. For example, this chair, probably since upuan lang yan, engineering or EE students can think of, why don't we put some massage sa chair, So kaya siguro doon na-invento yung massage chair kasi biglang nag-merge si EE at saka si IE. So yun yung reason. So ang outcome niyan ay massage chair. Masahe ng upuan. Okay? So that's number 1. We can also talk about good health and well-being. Can also include EE plus biomedical. Okay. When we talk about biomedical, there are the experts in, I don't know, maybe in fitness trackers, or yung mga device na pinapasok sa katawan, tapos may mga sensors. Yung mga biomedical. So EE plus biomedical, we can create sensors, medical sensors. Okay, so when we talk about medical sensors, probably these are very small integrated circuits or devices that we can use to monitor, probably blood sugar levels, high blood, hypertension. Pwedeng i-monitor yung ating BP, yung ating dugo, yung ating chemicals, o yung COVID virus, o yung sakit, ganun. When we combine E with biomedical, you can do that. You can do that. And that's through the outcome or the product would be medical sensors or devices that can, help to detect, help to detect or monitor. Yun. So I can think of only 2, EE plus IE or EE plus biomedical. So, Isven, baka maisip mo. Okay, so number 5, gender equality. I don't really care about gender equality. Clean water, clean water and sanitation. Okay, so we can separate clean water and sanitation because these are 2 very big fields. We talk about clean water. Okay, let's talk about clean water first. Okay, so what are the things that affects water quality? Okay, so when we say clean water, so this is a quality. Yeah, kasi maraming klase ng water. You have to remember that. There are many kinds of water. I don't know if you were taught in your environmental engineering. So there are many kinds of water. So we have, let's Google, classification of water, ENR. Okay, so there are many kinds of water bodies. Okay, so yeah, so we have class AA, we have class A. Pansin nyo naman, no? Baba ng net, oh. So there are many kinds of water, classification of quality of water. So we have AA, which is yung pang-inom, yung sa gripo natin. We also have A, yun, public water supply class 2, intended as source of water supply for, you know, panlaba, panluto. Okay. So class B, recreational water, pwede sa swimming pool, yun, panligo, ganun. So class C, yung mga pwedeng palaisdaan, gamitin na tubig sa palayan, yan. Class D, yun yung mga ilog, yan. So, many kinds or many classification of water, bodies of water specifically. Now, when we talk about clean water, it's really vague, you know, when we talk about clean water. Are you talking about, okay, when we talk about clean water, are you talking about drinking water? Drinkable? Okay. Or just thinking about cleaning, just clean water or usable. Okay, kasi when we talk about usable, we can still filter or process water to make it drinkable. But when we say usable, you know, these are bodies of water that we can use for washing dishes, for laba, for ligo, for panghugas, panglinis. But for drinkable, it's different, you know, it's different because you can't drink usable water. No, you have to drink drinkable water. Sana clear, because drinkable water have their different qualities. They have different characteristics or standards. So the standard for drinkable water is very high than usable water. Kaya kami tayo mga class. Okay. So for clean water, there are the only problem is actually shrouded on things like, okay, problem could be due to shortage of water. Okay, it could be due to pollution. What else? Okay, the problem could be due to shortage or pollution. Actually, I can only think of two right now. I don't know if you can think of the third one. I don't know. Question mark? Okay, when we say shortage of water, obviously, water is not enough to sustain our needs because only less than 3% of the world's freshwater, the world's water supply is drinkable. Very small. Okay, it's a very small percentage. When we talk about pollution, pollution is the problem that makes clean water a problem. Okay, because of pollution, you can't drink water. It could be madumi na, yun na madumi, may chemical, yun nga. So when we talk about this one, this is due to industrialization, or this could be impurities. Okay, shortage, obviously, ang problem dyan is lack. Yun nga mismo, shortage. Actually, red na nga ito automatically. Shortage, this is a problem. Industrial, yeah, and then impurities or chemicals, yeah. or pollution itself is a problem. It's a very broad topic. Now, that's when we talk about clean water. Okay, so we can address the problem with the shortage of water. So there are many kinds of technologies. So hindi ko man discussion. We're only talking about the problem. So this is the problem: shortage of water. Okay, water shortage is a problem. Or we can talk about pollution. It's a problem. Which pollution is a problem. Or industrial waste is the problem. Or we can talk about impurities or impurities or contamination. Yun, nakita ko na din. Impurities or contamination. Okay, so you can talk about impurities or contamination. So these are the problems. These are the problems itself. And these problems are the ones that you're going to, or let's say if you're going to go for water shortage, okay, then find the problem. Then yeah, you have water shortage. Now make a solution. Make a solution addressing water shortage, or make a solution addressing pollution, or make a solution addressing industrial waste pollution, or make a solution addressing impurities or contamination leading to pollution in water. So those are the things that you can go. Those are just a problem though. Okay. Okay, affordable. Okay, sanitation. Sorry. So sanitation. Talk about sanitation. When you talk about sanitation, it means that it is already dirty. Okay, so it's already dirty and it's already been used, so you have to process it. So sanitation is not a problem. Sanitation is actually a solution. But so let me check that one out. So sanitation, what's the definition of sanitation? Bagal lang net. Okay, so sanitation refers to public health conditions related to clean drinking water, adequate treatment and disposal of human excreta and sewage. Preventing human contact with fishes is part of sanitation. So sanitation is not a problem. So sanitation is more like a method. Okay, it's a method. So sanitation is a method. It could be a solution as well. So it's not a problem. Okay, so what's the problem? The problem is it's actually the root cause is pollution. So maraming factors eh. It could be overpopulation. Okay, it could be overpopulation, could be due to industrialization. Okay, it could be, I don't know, pollution as well. So this leads to pollution, and that pollution affects water. And actually this is the problem, these are the problems actually. Now sanitation is a method, as I said. So sanitation will address the problem with this. So sanitation is sanitation involves cleaning. Okay, so when we say sanitation, we talk about treating, reusing. Okay, so disposal. Okay, so when we talk about treating, we treat the dirty. Okay, we treat something which is dirty, and that dirty is the product of this tree. Okay, so you treat that one. Reusing is using again. Obvious naman no, reusing. So using again something which is a product of this tree. So it's for example, ang outcome niyan I don't know. The result. Maybe the outcome is, I don't know, maybe question mark. And then you're going to use sanitation by reusing, then you can make this usable again. So that's it. So disposal is more like you cannot treat it, you cannot reuse it. So there's only one thing for you to do: dispose it. Okay. So sanitation involves disposal. So when we say disposal, it should be safe. So parang yung mga basurahan natin. So hindi natin siya pwede treat, hindi na siya pwedeng gamitin unless yung mga recyclable. So, ano yung mga hindi natin pwedeng, yung mga itatapon na natin, yung hindi na talaga siya magagamit, yun. So, it involves disposal. So, this is an engineering problem that can be, addressed if we're going to talk about EE plus CE or EE plus CHE. Yeah, CHE or EE plus, can also be IE or EE plus CE plus ME plus CHE. It's actually a very broad, it's a very broad field. That's why this is a very exciting field, because sanitation involves a lot of things. It could be EE plus CE. When we talk about this, it could be using renewable energy technology to dispose or to process waste. When we talk about EE plus CHE, we can also talk about using renewable, using electricity to treat or reuse to treat or reuse. Okay, so sa EE and CE, you can talk about disposal. Okay, so this is disposal. So when we talk about EE plus CHE, you can talk about treating, and you can also talk about reusing. When we say EE plus IE, you can also talk about reusing, not treating. IE is not treating nor disposing. EE plus IE can only give you reusing. So EE plus CE, ME, yung iba pang disciplines, that addresses a lot of things. Okay? So, ulitin ko lang, when we talk about EE plus CE, waste disposal. When we talk about EE plus CHE, it could be waste treatment, waste reusing. When we talk about EE plus IE, it could be waste reusing or reprocessing. Okay, that's it. So, what's the next one? Decent work and economic growth? No, this is not engineering problem. Industry innovation infrastructure. This could be, but this is a very broad topic. Okay, this is a very broad one, because when we say industry, it does not only include industry, it affects many things. When you talk about innovation, what you're doing right now is innovation. When we talk about infrastructure, okay, this could be state-of-the-art facilities. So no. You can do this when you are already engineer, but when you are a student, I will not suggest you go for infrastructure. No, this is a very big one. So when we talk about reduced inequality, I don't know about this one. This could be due to inequality in opportunities, like I said. Could be inequality in opportunity for work. Okay, so maybe that could be gender. Yeah, I don't know. Sustainable cities and communities. Yeah, so sustainable cities and communities. So when we talk about sustainability, the city can sustain itself. Wait, what? When we talk about sustainable cities and communities, this is actually a very broad one, and I will not suggest for you to go this one unless you go on renewables. So electrical engineering or electrical engineers can go on sustainable cities and communities if we are only talking about renewable energy. So that's it, renewable energy lang. So that's where you can come in. Responsible consumption and production. Well, with responsible, okay, this is also very interesting. responsible consumption. Okay, so when we talk about responsible consumption, what are the things that we consume? Okay, we consume products, we consume food, we consume energy. Okay, so these are the three major. So when we say products, this could be natural resources, this could be wood, this could be metals, this could be paper. Yeah, food. Yeah, obviously baboy, manok. Energy. When we talk about energy, yeah, yung crude oil, yung gasolina, yun. So responsible consumption of energy. Okay, so when we talk about consumption of responsible consumption of products, I don't know if you can find something which is engineering problem. But obviously, this is an engineering problem, but for EE, I don't know, not quite sure. For food, maybe I don't know, addressing food. So this is for food technologies and food engineering, but not EE students. As for energy, this can be a realm of EE. So when we talk about energy, responsible consumption of energy, okay? So right now, we are using fossil fuels to burn energy. Or, okay, yeah, for electricity usage, like for charging phones, powering our houses, we use energy. And that energy comes from burning of fossil fuels, like diesel, okay? So you can go for renewable energy technology to address the problem. Or you can go for electric vehicles. And that's it. You can also go for monitoring. Okay, you can also go for monitoring. When I say monitoring, we monitor energy consumption, and then we suggest. You know, for example, we monitor that you are using too much unnecessary equipment, so we suggest you turn it off. So that's responsible consumption, because energy just like any other commodity or product can be wasted. So meron tayong mga sinasayang. For example, naiiwang nakapatay yung ilaw, so that's a waste energy. Or naiiwan na nakapatay yung aircon, or naiiwan na nakasaksak yung charger, or naiiwan na nakasaksak yung mga appliances. So they use energy as to waste. Why waste? Nagiging waste siya kasi hindi mo naman ginagamit, pero kumakain siya ng energy. So that's responsible. So if you can address some of those problems, that's responsible consumption of energy. Okay? Okay, so production. So when we talk about responsible production, so okay, responsible production. Okay, responsible production is more on the produce of goods and commodities, or basically products. Okay, so when we talk about responsible production of goods, I don't know, efficiency. When we are talking about efficiency, less waste. Okay, so when we talk about efficiency, walang masyadong natatapon. For example, kapag nagpasok ka ng 1 kilo ng karne, lalabas na 1 kilong karne din. Walang tapon. Yung balat ng karne, hindi itatapon. Yung mga bulbul, hindi itatapon. Yung dugo, hindi itatapon. Yung taba, hindi itatapon. So, lahat magagamit. So, that's responsible production. Walang tapon, walang sayang. Okay, I hope you get the point. When we say less waste, that's actually efficiency and less waste, you know, because efficiency is equivalent to output minus input. Okay, so obviously, kapag ang output mo ay 1, ang input mo ay 1, you have 1, so that's 100%. But yung output mo ay 0.5 and your output is 1, obviously you only have an efficiency of only have efficiency of 1/2, or that's 50%. Okay, so kasi nabawasan ka na output mo 0.5, input mo 1. So, 50% efficiency. So, it means, saan napunta ang 1? Hindi. Saan napunta yung remaining 5%? Because 0.5 plus 0.5 is equals 1. So, saan napunta yung 0.5? So, that's waste. Okay? So, that's waste. So, waste is a problem. This is a problem. Now, what are the factors that affects waste? What are the problems, or what are the not problems? What are the factors that leads to waste? So it could be kasi sayang yun, kasi hindi na natin siya naalam ng gamit. So we don't have a use for it. Okay? For example, sa balat ng baboy, wala tayong alam na gamit ng balat ng baboy, so tatapon na lang natin. So that's a problem. Yung waste. So your solution is what can be the other uses of yung balat ng baboy or yung balat ng karne? I hope you get the point. So, ano ang iba pang gamit ng balat ng karne? Para hindi siya maging waste. So that's it. That's how you do it. So, it can be applied to many other things. Hindi lang sa karne. But what we're talking about, the point of responsible production is efficiency, less waste. So, less waste. Okay. So, climate action. Okay, so when we talk about climate action, there are many things that you can do. One of which is planting trees. Planting more trees, obviously. And making, planting more trees. Can plant more trees. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's check. Or make more efficient machines. Okay, check. Or renewable energy, check din. So yun lang naisip ko. Okay, so life below water. Okay. You might be questioning, why is life below water one of the goals of UN? So that could be underwater cities. Okay, why? Well, there are so many things, or there are many reasons why you put your house underwater. One of which is you can be robust from climate. Okay. Kasi hindi na mainit kasi may tubig. Hindi mo kailangan ng aircon. Kung walang aircon, edi walang gagamitin kuryente. Efficient. Ganon. So, walang energy para magpalamig. So, less energy, edi mas efficient. So, ganon. So, hindi ko alam kung hindi ko maisip kung ano yung mga bagay na pwedeng reason kung bakit life below water. No, I don't. Maybe yun yung reason. Okay. Now, the opposite is life on land. Okay, so life on land. Obviously, when you talk about life on land, you are making your life better while on land. So, I think goal to 40 or goal to 13, yun yung makakatulong sa'yo para makamit yung life on land. Okay, so goal 16 is peace and justice and strong institutions. So, obviously, this is an engineering problem. And partnerships to achieve the goal, so obviously, this is not also engineering problem. So, I hope you get the point. So, that's how you do that's how you do a problem. That's how you find a problem. So, that's critical thinking. That's critical thinking. That's finding a problem. And if you already found a problem, what's your solution? That's it. Okay. So the list above is Sustainable Development Goal, which is composed of 17 interlinked global goals that should be attained by the year 2030. Sana nga maabot, no? Kasi 2021, we have 9 years to go. Okay, so I ask you to choose 3 and then choose 1 out of the 3. Okay, so mga sumagot poverty or zero hunger, hindi ko masisisi kasi tingin nyo siguro problem siya pero hindi naman talaga actually. Okay?